If you've ever done any research into building stories, you're probably familiar with the 3-act structure and how it could apply to adventure modules or campaign design. But today, I'm going to apply the 3-act structure to encounters.
But why would you do that?
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to stick around and find out.
It's about time we take our encounter design from great to fucking fantastic, alright? It starts with Act 1. Act 1 of a story is where the major players and elements of the story are all introduced. By the time you're done with Act 1, you basically have the lay of the land as far as the story is concerned. How do we translate that into encounters? In game design terms, this is called telegraphing. Basically, you're going to work details into the character's experience and their travels along the way that are indicating what it is they're about to encounter. Some really classic examples include scorch marks to indicate that maybe that fire resistance potion you have in your backpack should be drank. Or the classic of cobwebs, which universally indicate giant spiders are afoot. Afoot, to foot, to foot, to foot, to foot, to foot, to foot. This is important for two reasons. The first reason this is important is because it helps establish a consistency in the rising tension of the story that will be your encounter. This is what's going to turn your encounter from being a combat with all the rules and dice into an action scene in the story. The second reason is that it rewards players for investigating, experimenting, and thinking about what they've found. If you provide clues that the players then decide to investigate, their actions will be rewarded with information that then is useful later on, allowing them to more easily circumvent dangers down the road. This is a fantastic feeling as a player. It's very rewarding for you to have applied your brains to the problem and found the solution that you found. Act 2 is going to be the actual combat. Act 2 in a story is where you have all the twists and turns of Call to the Roller Coaster. It's where the players attempt to solve the problem. Take note, you may have planned a combat, and the solution the solution that the players applied to the problem was not combat. Good luck. Honestly though, you really should be aware that when a player tries to go around something and not have the fight, that's a perfectly legitimate response and you don't have to force them to fight. This is why it's important to know the motivation behind the obstacles between the players and their goals. The point is, whatever solution that is applied is going to break down to this roller coaster of dice checks and results and consequences and actions and tensions, and if you're doing your job right, everything the players do spawns something they need to get done until it all seems to wrap up at the end, leading you to Act 3. Now in a combat scene, Act 3 is the trickiest and also the most important thing to pin down if what you're looking to do is really tie in that good narrative tension throughout the entirety of the scene. Act 3 is the climax, where the player character's chances of succeeding are at their lowest and the stakes are at the highest. It is also the point right before the denouement, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. You can arrange for your combats to have Act 3 climaxes by introducing monsters later in the fight after something's already broken out, or revealing a secret problem in the environment that acts as an additional threat, or springing a trap, or doing anything else that really makes the fight more deadly than initially perceived. The denouement is the most important part of our 3-act structure for combat. Ignore the part where I said that Act 1 was the most important part. The most important thing is that Act 2 was not the most important part, okay? This is the happily ever after moment when we've already discovered who's going to win the fight. Let's face the facts. If there were 13 Sturges and you have 40 party members, Jesus, what kind of party are you running? You have 4 party members. 13 Sturges. Math, right? Okay, so then you're down to like 2, 3, 4 Sturges, and the party members have taken almost no damage. They haven't really used any of their resources. They have a lot more firepower available to bring to bear than they already have. The fight is already over. Just hand wave it. Whoosh, gone, done. Say that they win and move on. We don't need to roll those extra dice and do all that extra math to answer a question we already know the answer to. When you do this enough, you'll be able to do all kinds of crazy stuff with all this extra time you're saving by chopping off 10-15 minutes off the end of every encounter. You chop off these useless rounds at the end of a fight, you might save enough time to, I don't know, order a pizza, go to the circus, buy season tickets to my show. Do we have season tickets? I need season tickets. Be careful when you're looking to dig up that denouement out of your combat scene. This takes some situational awareness and a lot of good judgment, because there are still things that can go wrong. If a player is at the brink of death, even if it looks like they're going to win the encounter overall, you might want to see what's going to happen to that player. Don't ruin that player's tension and that nail-biting moment just to get your denouement, but at the same time, If there aren't going to be any of those, it doesn't matter. Sometimes in your story, it might matter how many charges of this item are used up. Sometimes it'll matter exactly how many rounds of combat you go through. It is very situational, but it is still the most potent tool you have in your box for not letting your games grind to a halt at stupid dicey dice slap fests that have earned combat gaming a bad name. Alright, there you have it. Combat, well, action, fight scenes, encounters, the fighting fight in 3 acts. The introduction, where you hint at the players and give them the chance to investigate what's going to happen. The actual upsy-downy, topsy-turvy wiggle wobble of the combat. Then you hunt down Act 3, which is a combination of the most deadly part of the fight, followed by the denouement as soon as you can, and you save as much time as you can by not rolling dice to answer questions we already know the answers to. I'm Evil Squeegee. I'll catch you guys later. Adios.
Endless winter ends tonight. The blizzard cuts your skin open as your horse rockets you through the frozen forest. The Ice Queen, the Great Witch of the North, put great efforts into hiding the Titan's Blade from any who might seek to wield its powers against her. Yet her effort was not as great as your cunning, or your will to succeed. The legends of its very existence she hid in the ever-flowing rivers of Twitter, guarded by wisdom elementals and meme golems. You cut them down. The compass that pointed to the last person to have owned the blade, forged into the heart of the Great Twitch Tower, guarded by the Mad Wizard's discord and evil magics. You braved that chaos. The sole being who knew of its location, an immortal game wisp, locked away in the realms of nightmare to be silenced eternally. You set him free, and now, galloping through the endless snowfall and up the stairs to the ancient Ice Queen's palace, gripping your blade tightly, you are confronted with the gods the Ice Queen has shackled to her will to defend her abode, now mere shadows of their former glory. Yet their names still strike terror into your heart. Like and subscribe. What do you do?